Ladies and gentlemen, I am your co-host tonight, Kevin Dinneen. Welcome to The Light at Night with Lindsey Dinneen.
Hello, welcome again to The Light at Night. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight is all about education, and I am so excited because I have so many different really cool people that I get to speak with tonight. I know I say that every week. It's true every single week. But what I love about this is you get introduced to all sorts of people that you might not have even realized were educators or, had a little bit of hint along those lines. And there's some really amazing people, of course, that I get to speak to. So thank you for being here, all of you lovelies. And I just wanted to, here's the thing. Education is something that we grew up, we're obligated, we have to go to school. Sometimes it's a chore, sometimes we love it. We pick our favorite subjects. We're asked, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? It's just part of who you are and how you show up in the world as a kid. You don't have a choice. But then when you get older, you get to start making some of those choices for yourself. You get to say, do I want to go to college? Do I want to go beyond college? Do I want to continue my education with just some courses or technical training or anything like that? And then eventually you also get to keep deciding, right? You get to say, you know what? Maybe I don't want to ever stop learning. And I think this here is such a great example of that. Being on board this ship is one of those experiences where you kind of have to learn as you go, right? Yes, for sure. And you get the opportunity to. Each new place we visit is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to explore. What a gift that is. I love that about this. So your education will never be complete, right? Because we are humans and we have the ability to grow and change and evolve, and we don't have to stay stuck wherever we are. So I am really excited about this show. Like I've said, we have all sorts of wonderful guests. We have Alicia, who's a music instructor and educator, an international educator, so can't wait to hear about that. We have Cindy, who is a college professor, PhD. We have Judy, who is a professor as well and a former administrator and dean, is that correct? Also, she does a really interesting thing that I cannot wait to talk about, in addition to her other education credentials. And then we have Whitney, who homeschools her girls right aboard the Vie Odyssey, which is where we are today. And we are back home in the Neptune Lounge, which is really awesome. So we're excited to be here again. And I just had a couple of things that I just wanted to read, quotes about education that kind of stood out to me as I was thinking about tonight. Mark Twain once said, "I have never let my schooling interfere with my education." Nelson Mandela said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Robert Frost said, "Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence." And Aristotle said, "Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all." So, here we go. Let's start talking with some of these amazing people, but first, I think we have a randomizer.
And we were going to have a randomizer. However, I took some creative license, and instead of that, right now...
Cool.
And so I wanted to have, let everyone experience what it's like to have a pop quiz.
Oh, come on!
In the spirit of education, tonight
You're schooling me.
So tonight I have a pop quiz just for you, Lindsey.
Oh, great.
Okay. So to get started, here we go. First question. Over the full kindergarten to grade 12 span in the U.S. public schooling system, what is the approximate total cost to parents?
Oh, but does that depend on whether it's like, oh, you said public system.
It's public school.
Oh, ooh,
And this is average.
do I get lifelines or?
Okay, so we've got 80,000, we've got 128,400, 162,900, or 200,000 plus.
I don't
for
know.
that span of 19-ish years.
Per student.
Per student.
Per student. Okay, I'm going to go with B, 128.
B, 128,400. The answer is C.
Oh!
162,900 per student.
For public students.
For public
not,
school. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
okay.
an education.
What's
Yes.
the source?
Yeah.
The sources is several sources, but this particular one was an education magazine, and they had their sources, and I don't know what they were.
DVD. We can come back to the credits.
Yes, TBD.
Okay. All right.
In what country did the modern concept of kindergarten originate?
This one I know. It's Germany.
Germany. For the win, it is Germany.
Yes. One and one. Okay, I've got 1 point.
All right. Which school subject was once called natural philosophy?
Literature.
Sociology, literature, science, or art?
Natural philosophy. Philosophy. I'm gonna say sociology, I think.
Sociology, it is science.
No! Really? Dang it. Well, I'm failing at this pop quiz, but this
Okay.
is your fault, so. No.
I picked these questions because when I was reading them, I was shocked by most of them. And so
Oh,
I
okay.
thought this would be a great education for everyone.
Okay, well, therefore, yeah,
Yeah,
excellent.
there we go.
There we go.
All right, the SAT originally stood for what? We have Student Achievement Test, Scholastic Aptitude Test, Standardized Assessment Test, or Scholarly Ability Test.
Go with the
I feel like you're getting...
I think I'm hearing my conscious speaking.
and your conscious / the audience is correct.
Thank goodness, audience.
All right.
Okay.
The term alma mater literally translates from Latin into which of the following phrases? Kind mother, nourishing mother, great teacher, or guiding star?
I'm gonna have to go with B, nourishing mother.
B, nourishing mother for the win. Good job.
3 points.
All right. What U.S. state requires schools to offer surfing as a physical education option?
It's required?
It's required.
Okay, well, I'm gonna guess Hawaii.
Hawaii is correct. All right. Which country once banned homework to reduce stress among students and now doesn't allow it before the age of 7?
Okay, well, it's gotta be one of the happiest places, right, that consistently gets these, happiness score index or whatever. So I'm
I
gonna
feel
have
like
to
these 4 are all pretty high on that.
That's probably true, but I'm gonna guess Finland.
Finland for the
Yes!
win. Good job.
Almost,
All right.
Finland. Hey!
Great job.
I actually passed my pop quiz.
I think you did pass.
Yes. Telling me there's a chance. All right, so excellent. Well, that wasn't the randomizer. So anyway, moving on. Let's welcome to the stage our very first guest, and that is Cindy. Hi. All right. Well, Cindy, you have had quite an educational journey yourself, and now you are an educator, but I would love to learn a little bit about you and your educational background first.
Okay, so I started, I took a year after high school. I had a child, and so I started at the University of Oklahoma in the business degree. I got a degree in marketing and management. And then I worked for a while, and then I moved to Chicago. I was in University of Oklahoma, so I was in Norman. And then I was working at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and I got my MBA there, and I got a master's in linguistics. And I started working for a company that developed online courses and educational programs that partnered with schools. So then I decided I just wanted to teach as well, and you really needed a PhD to teach online. I mean, you can teach lower, like community college and stuff without a PhD, but you really need a PhD. So I decided to do that online at Walden University. So that took 8 years part-time. I worked full-time. And I actually just stopped going to school like 7 years ago, and in 2016.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wait, that's more than 7, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's like I've been to school my whole life, so
Yeah.
the lifelong learner there.
Yeah. Well, okay, and I know you, okay, so first of all, that's amazing that you continued on that far, and, you know, I love the fact that you just decided, hey, this is a career goal of mine, and therefore this is how I achieve it. So you have also earned a couple of additional certificates or certifications from other places around the world.
Yes, so I did, during my MBA program, I did a summer program in Brazil, and I have a certificate in Brazilian operations. And I also did one in France, and so that is what was the name of that one? I forgot.
Oh, I
It was
don't
a long
know.
time ago.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, it's okay.
It was a summer program
Yeah.
in France.
Yeah.
We went around and we did it. It was a business MBA program, so I did that too.
Wow. Okay, so when you decided, so you have 2 master's degrees, yes? And, yeah, okay. So you have 2 master's degrees, and so with the MBA, you had a career also in marketing before you started doing like full-time
Yes.
educating? Can you
Yes.
speak to that a little bit?
Well, I worked at, my very first marketing job was with Baskin-Robbins Corporation
Ooh.
in Burbank, and yes, we did get free ice cream.
Ah.
So, but yeah, I did all of I worked in their merchandising, you know, the little strips and the posters and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff in the store. So I worked on that.
Excellent.
And then I moved to Chicago, and that's when I started working at the university too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to school and working at the university as well.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, and so what made you decide to take the leap from being a student perpetually, so to speak, to then educating?
Okay. Well, one of the things when I got the degree in linguistics, travel's always been my passion. I've been to 40 countries. Philippines is my 41st, so I've been to many of them several times, and I've lived abroad several times. But travel has always been the passion. So getting the degree in English or in linguistics to teach English, I went to Japan for a year and taught English there. So that was the sort of the driver behind that. But then I realized if I taught online, I could just live anywhere and be remote. So like now I teach at 6 different schools. Currently I'm only teaching in the U.S. because I also teach in Saudi Arabia, but I took that term off because I didn't know about the internet here on the boat yet. So
Yeah,
on the ship.
making sure it was going to work.
Yeah, because they have to do 2-hour live sessions with every 2 weeks. And
Okay.
yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know if that was going to work or not.
Yeah.
But I teach at 4 universities in the U.S. I teach it in Saudi Arabia and in Vietnam, and I did teach in the Netherlands a couple
Wow.
years ago.
Wow.
Oh, and then I go and I teach in the EMBA program in China. I did that last November, and I think I'll be doing it again in March. I'm not really for sure yet.
Wow, that's amazing. So you have literally taught all over the world. What is one of the most surprising things, differences between teaching, say, American students versus teaching students from other places?
There's not really a big, especially when you're teaching MBAs, which is what I usually do. Right now, the biggest hurdle and challenge has been AI. I mean, with my Saudi students, I can only teach females because as a female, I can only teach female students. But they've discovered ChatGPT, and every one of their discussions is ChatGPT.
Oh.
So, mostly the unpaid version, which you get all of the terms with, so that has been. And then also, even the U.S. students, the schools have policy against using AI, but they do anyway. Because you can tell just, I use it too, so I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell it that it's written in AI. So.
Right.
But that's kind of the biggest challenge I'm having, and all instructors are having. Every time we have a faculty meeting at one of the schools, that's our number one conversation is how do we go about, the university has a policy not to do it, but then they don't enforce it when you bring it up. So they just have the student rewrite the paper or the essay.
Okay, interesting. So. What's hard about that too, though, is I will say, so I recently went back to school and got my master's degrees, and one of the things that was frustrating about it is they would do this automatic, so I'd submit papers online and they would do this automatic AI check.
Yeah.
And then they would tell you what your score was, like how likely it was that AI had written it or whatever. And I wrote all of my papers from scratch, and I would get really frustrated when some of the things that I use that ChatGPT gets flack for, like the M dash. I love the M dash.
That's one
Come
way
on.
that you can actually tell.
Yeah, well, okay, but it's part of proper grammar, and you can use it. And so that was like a frustrating aspect to me.
Just
Is
take
I
it
would
out and use a comma.
I like my M dashes, but I hear you. But I think that's what's challenging too is sometimes it's wrong, and so then they'll pick it up and go, "Oh, AI wrote it," and I'm like, "I put so much time and effort. Thank you."
No, there's a lot of other things, like if you use Grammarly to check, it's all AI now.
Yeah.
So it flags everything.
Ah.
So even if you do have some of the school and some of the programs do have AI checkers or matching checkers.
Yeah.
But I get papers that are 100% all the time.
Okay.
And I know they're not really written 100%.
Yeah.
But maybe if they've used Grammarly, it catches all of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
It's really getting hard to write papers.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm going to retire in a couple of years.
Oh, yay! Well, until then, okay. So yes, AI is a challenge, but it is also a tool, and you actually use AI. And I'm curious to know, can you tell us more about that and how you implement it in a way that's responsible?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that a lot of the schools are doing now is they want you to do a video welcome or a video announcement. Well, that's a lot of work with hair and makeup.
Who wants
Actually, men probably made that, because they just get up there. So I use an avatar for my announcements. I have a whole set of them, and all I have to do is, it's a company called HeyGen. I've tried a lot of different companies, but HeyGen seems to be the most economical.
Mm-hmm.
And so for 2 or 3 minutes, I'll just, I'll write out a script, put it there, and then it'll generate the avatar with my announcement on it.
That is really cool. And do we have the capacity to?
We do have.
Okay.
So it might be a little washed out, a little bit light,
Yeah.
but we're going to play a video.
Hi, Lindsay and Kevin. This is one of the avatars I use to make announcements in my courses. I type what I want to say in the script area and press record. I wait a few minutes, and the video is ready for me to post, all without having to do hair or makeup. I do want to make more avatars on the upcoming C-Days we have. I can now make avatars standing and walking. If you want to check out this software, it is called HeyGen.
So that's not me.
That is so cool.
It is a little bit robotic, but I need to put a little bit. A lot of times when I was trying to make them, I'd raise my eyebrows, and and then when they would make the thing, my eyebrows would raise, and where it shouldn't.
You look very sincere, indeed.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to be professional, and then, but I'm going to make some more. I just haven't had time.
Yeah.
I'm teaching 6 classes right now.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So it's a 7-day-a-week thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Shoot. Well, so I'm curious, what is one thing that you're looking forward to, either for your own continued education or for the future of education? What are you excited or optimistic about?
Well, one of the things I'm doing right now is I'm actually putting some of my own courses on Udemy, which is a aggregator, I guess, where you can go in and you can do courses. So
Yep.
when I have time, I started it. I'm only on week 2 of 8.
That's great, though.
But yeah, so those are just, they won't be in my instruction. They'll be, you can just take them and do them, and so it'll just be income generating.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Oh, I love that platform.
Yeah, I've got like 6 courses ready to put on it. I just haven't had time yet.
That's awesome. No, you're gonna really enjoy that because the benefits are really nice, and then you just interact with students. So I have courses on the same platform, so I relate to this, and it's really nice because, first of all, the courses are not that expensive typically, so it's very accessible for people to go online and take a course in kind of anything. I mean, including my like dance, for instance. But what's great too is that you still get to interact with students. They'll maybe ask you questions and things like that, but for the most part, it's
just money coming down,
which is helpful because
it's not a lot, so you have to go by volume.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. No, that's exciting. Yeah. Yeah, so what is one thing that you wish people would know about education, continuing on beyond high school, say?
It doesn't help you with trivia. I actually, when I go play trivia, I feel really dumb. But,
Dang it. That's okay.
For me, I'm just one of those people that like to learn things. I'm always curious. I've got Smithsonian on TV all the time.
Yeah.
That, since we only have 3 channels, that's one of them.
Right.
I guess it's just, there's always more, even travel, the education that we're getting at every port.
Yeah.
Me mostly in malls, but, anyway else. But anyway, so it's, again, it's a continued lifelong learning, basically.
I love that.
So.
Well, thank you, Cindy. That was amazing. Really appreciate you. All right, so I am very excited to welcome our next guest. She is an educator as well, of course, that's the theme, but she's also an administrator. She's had lots of roles and trainings over the years, so please help me welcome to the stage, Miss Judy. Judy, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
So I would love if you would start by just telling us a little bit about your own education journey and how you became an educator.
Well, I was a high school interested in journalism, actually from junior high through community college, through college.
Okay.
And then I really wanted to be a public information officer.
Oh.
And a news reporter.
Okay.
And I worked for a radio station, I worked for a television station, and then I had an opportunity at a brand new community college.
Yeah.
The second year of a brand new California, Sacramento area college to become a journalism instructor and a public information officer. It was
Meant to be.
23 years old.
Oh my goodness. At 23 years old?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so you started off there. First of all, I love community college. That's my first degree was there, and I just, everything about it was so great. People were so friendly and sweet, and they were kind, and then they were, so interesting. I loved getting to take classes with people of all different ages and backgrounds and whatnot, and people who really wanted to be there, which is sometimes different than the 4-year experience, I've noticed. So anyway, what made you fall in love with community colleges specifically?
It was that open door.
Yeah.
The start over, the re-entry student, the veterans coming back.
Yeah.
And news writing and reporting met an English 1A, 1C requirement.
Yeah.
So I had 8 a.m. students that had no interest in journalism, but they were satisfying a general education class.
Yeah.
But I have had students, as I've gone through teaching for, my career at the college was 32 years.
Yeah.
The same college. But I wore many, many hats.
Yeah.
And I've had many students that still follow me in their careers.
Yeah.
So that's always rewarding.
It is. Well, speaking of students, is there any one or two stories that kind of stand out as like a student that either made an impact on you or you made an impact on them, and sort of how did that come about?
Actually, when I moved to Cool, California, and that's part of the story
Cool,
here.
Yep.
40 years a resident.
All right.
And I had a new neighbor move in next to me, and he looked at me and I looked at him, and he says, "I know you." And then I spoke, and he says, "You were one of my teachers." I was teaching early Macintosh desktop publishing,
Yes.
and he was taking my graphics classes, desktop publishing on a Mac.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, what'd you end up doing?" He says, "Well, I own 3 print shops."
Oh my God.
Okay. But then he ended up selling them, but I did ask him, "Did you pass?" And he went back and he looked and he said, I think he had a B+.
Yeah.
He said, "And I probably deserved it."
Oh. There you go.
So
So you started off as an instructor, but then you ended up becoming like, well, I just want to tell the
Okay,
story.
well, many hats. As a public information officer, I was like the assistant to the president.
Okay.
I wrote speeches, I did marketing, I wrote literally typeset all the catalogs and the class schedules and mailed them out. So the information officer role
Yeah.
progressed. And then I had a president that was not the easiest to work for. And I invoked tenure and went back to the classroom.
Okay.
And I taught at an outreach center for 12 years,
Okay.
but also helped plan a technology-based college.
Okay.
And so that was pretty fascinating and involved in technology. And I know we have some technology people here.
Yeah.
And that I followed on board.
Oh.
Thank you, the geeks. But anyway, I ended up being a grant writer.
Okay.
And I wrote an educational segment to teach faculty how to use computers in their classroom. I set up a teaching learning center, the TLC, and I had half Macs and half PCs.
Yeah.
And it was how to incorporate, and this was way back,
Sure.
how to incorporate the technology into their teaching,
Wow.
and then later help plan a college that was based on technology.
Okay.
So, yeah, but then from there, I became an administrator. I was a
Okay.
leadership
Yeah.
leader at the Community College Outreach Center, faculty spokesperson, whatever. And then I applied for a dean's job.
Ooh.
And it was the only corner of the campus that was Mac-based. I was Mac Mama.
Okay.
And so, just
Okay.
briefly, I supported the visual and communication visual and performing arts departments.
Okay.
And they would haul me off the walkway. Could you come fix this, or can you troubleshoot that?
Yeah.
So my technology kept me as a dean, but the other part was they also handed me a box and said, oh, by the way, you're the study abroad coordinator.
Oh.
So I
Still
was
great.
responsible. We had a consortium of 4 districts. I had Northern California from Central Valley, from Chico, California, for those that know the Central Valley, down to Modesto, Fresno. And we would send 100 U.S. students to London in the fall. In the spring, it would be Paris or Florence. Summer would jump around. Did that for 4 years. Then I had a communication instructor who couldn't go. Who could I assign to go teach in London? So my husband was already retired, and I went and taught in London for a semester.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That worked out.
And after that, I came back and taught computer science.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you even with the administrator role, you kept and dean and whatnot, you just kept going with your educator role as well. Couldn't leave it behind. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after retirement, I still kept teaching.
Okay.
I was an avid RV
Yes.
driver.
I wanted to talk
And,
about that.
and lots of technology.
Yep.
One of my first rallies was, "Are you smarter than a smartphone?"
Okay.
And from there, it was working as a floor assistant for the geeks, and then teaching about other items. I taught RVing for women.
Yeah.
I taught a health issue called all about valley fever, which is a fungus that I have, but it's not contagious.
Okay.
I'll assure you of that.
Okay. I'm good.
And then more recently, I'll say for the last 17 years, I have been teaching RVers to be crew members for the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. And somewhere along the line, we're going to find a balloon festival that I'll be teaching all of our community to be crew members.
Woohoo! I feel I hear a speaker's corner coming.
I think there might be a couple.
That is incredible. So I'm curious. So we talk obviously a lot about AI and its impact on education, but you were also fighting this battle, so to speak, years ago when you were trying to help people adopt technology in general, like use a computer for the classroom. Was that a difficult learning curve for a lot of educators? Did they like it? Did they embrace it?
we needed to follow the money and helping them identify how they could use it, and then to use grant money to underwrite their learning, and then for the institution. Matter of fact, when I was doing my master's, I was doing it and thinking about the structure, the infrastructure that did not exist, distance learning. And I actually recommended that they not do distance learning because there was not the support system. There was not the technology people, the IT, or the hardware, or the guarantees for software update.
So it was like it was a learning
challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. But it has turned out well, and you still teach because you're still educating people to do all these cool things and opportunities.
As mentioned, lifelong learning.
Absolutely.
And lifelong teaching.
Exactly. I love it. Well, that is amazing. Thank you so much, Judy, for your time today. That was awesome. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and now we have somebody that you are very well acquainted with, and we get him back this week. Yay, Mr. Randy.
Yeah, I missed last week. Sorry about that. Glad to be back.
Details. All right, this is true. What is true today?
Well, before I get to that, I want to tell you about my experience as a teacher.
Oh, please do.
So my specialty when I was a medic was helping to train the other medics.
Okay.
The new people coming in.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing to do was to proctor their exam in order for them to get certified.
Okay.
And I specialized in the CPR and AED station. And since I had plenty of experience with that, and they were really nervous, I would help talk them through it.
Yeah.
So what do you think you missed?
Oh.
And they would learn from their test.
Okay.
So I think that was a cool thing to do because
Yeah.
it gives them more confidence.
Yeah.
Because it's really very nerve-wracking to say, here's a dead person, get to work. I mean, seriously, that's what happens.
Yeah, that sounds...
And it's like, is there anybody to help me? Well, like, maybe your driver is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah. So did you find that with just a little bit of gentle encouragement that most people were able to get enough confidence to do it?
Yeah, it was very interesting because when they first came into my station, they looked really nervous.
Oh.
And after they got through it, just watching them relax and say, hey, I did it.
Yeah, and I can do this.
Yeah.
That's one of the most rewarding things as a teacher, right? Is to have to see that light bulb moment and go from confusion or frustration or challenge, just thinking I can't do this. What if I'm not good enough, smart enough, whatever your own challenges, and then to have that light bulb moment of, oh, maybe I can do this.
It comes back to just rely on your training.
Yeah.
There's
remember your training.
They teach the ABCs, and it's really A, do they have an airway?
Yeah.
Are they breathing?
Right.
Do they have circulation? That's what the ABCs are.
Right.
So,
right.
You address those.
Yeah. Excellent.
And then wait for help to come.
Yes. All right.
So,
what do we have today?
Education. I've written more than 10,000 stories for This Is True. And a lot of them. That's a lot of stories. And a lot of them have to do with education because there's a lot of weird stuff going on in education. And I brought an example from my files from June 2021.
Delightful.
Yes, and it's called Take a Day Off. The Randolph, New Jersey Board of Education met to consider proposals and objections to those proposals to rename certain school holidays, such as changing Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. More than 100 people attended the meeting, with many wishing to speak. I don't think really it's the board's responsibility to be naming these holidays, said board member Ronald Conti. Either take them off or just adopt whatever the federal and state governments are doing. Board member Doreen Roach agreed. If we don't have anything on the calendar, she said, We don't have to have anyone be hurt feelings or anything like that. And with that, the board voted unanimously to take the names off every school holiday. No more Rosh Hashanah, Thanksgiving, or Christmas. Every holiday is now called Day Off. Once the vote was recorded, one man in the crowd who was waiting to speak yelled, "What did you just do? What just happened?" And I answered, "They removed your objections."
Oh my gosh.
See you next week.
See you next week. Thank you, Randy. All right, excellent, excellent. Well, we are very excited because our next guest is somebody that you know and love as well. She has 2 lovely daughters on board with her, and they are of school age, and so this is a really exciting opportunity to be literally world schooled. Not even homeschooled, this is world schooled, so welcome, Miss Whitney.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
Anytime.
So, okay, first of all, I would love to hear, how did you first get involved in the Odyssey and think, okay, this is something we could do with our girls and give them this crazy, amazing experience?
Sure. So I sold a family business in 2023, and I actually did some substitute teaching that next semester, and sort of saw what high school had become since, I'd gone how many ever years ago.
Yeah.
And sort of had the realization, let's do something crazy. I never had the study abroad experience in college, never did travel like we're doing right now, obviously.
Yeah.
And so we had talked about, could we be the kind of family that RVs? Do we want to go someplace and live for a couple of months and then move on? At one point, we were really seriously considering buying a 1920s Pullman rail car and attaching it to Amtrak. But that has changed a lot in the last Trump administration. The rules really changed, and so it wasn't as appealing as we had originally thought it would be.
Sure.
And so then this came along, and it was like, this solves all the problems, right? It solves all the logistical problems. The boat moves us. We get to unpack once.
Right.
The ship is big enough that the kids can have some freedom, and we're not always, in some tiny apartment together. We don't have to rent cars. We don't have to cook meals. We don't have to do laundry. And so it was really a fairly easy sell.
Yeah.
So we did 8 months on the Odyssey last school year. We went from Lisbon to La Paz.
Okay.
And then we just got back on in Taiwan.
Okay.
And we don't have tickets home yet, but we're thinking middle of May.
Okay, excellent. So last year when you brought the girls on, you mentioned having some more flexibility in terms of the schooling, and then this year looks a little bit different. Can you walk us through that?
Yep. So we did a gap year last year, which I don't think is a super common experience in high school in the United States, but we just basically said, let's pull them out for a year. There's no reason that they can't go back in a year behind, where they should be. And the school district didn't have any problem with that. And so last year we basically asked them to write about the places that we'd been, research where we were going. We watched a lot of YouTube videos about things that were too complex to sort of explain on the fly. Slavery was one of those that we spent a lot of time watching YouTube videos to sort of get a better understanding of what was going on. And then it did turn out that we ended up with a couple of credits out of last year. The high school that my oldest kiddo goes to, everybody's required to take a quarter of a year of swimming. There's a swimming pool at that high school. And so we all got, the kids and my husband, I'd already been certified, but we're all scuba divers now. And the school district very easily said, well, if you can scuba dive, you probably don't need to take freshman swimming. And so we've gotten one kiddo out of swimming. I'm sure we'll get the other one out of swimming the same way. So they learned some things along the way. So we just flew by the seat of our pants last year. And then this year we realized we needed to buckle down and come up with some sort of plan. And it coincided really nicely with our school district at home instituting an online program. We come from a place with a lot of homeschool families. And so they now allow kids to take any number of classes through their home school, the district that they should be enrolled in. And so we were able to sign both kids up for all of their core classes, and then they can do some electives through a statewide program. So it's asynchronous. I think that's a really popular word nowadays in internet land. Yes. They don't need to be sitting in their seat 10 hours difference, time difference from where we're at right now. And so obviously we had to have that.
Right.
It comes at no cost to us, which is terrific.
Wow.
It goes on their transcripts like they were in their regular school. They're, should we go back next year and complete the rest of high school, it'll look like they'd gone,
right,
the whole way through. So that was really appealing to me. So we're trying it, and it seems like it's going pretty well so far.
Yeah, excellent. What were some of the most memorable stops that you had in terms of, especially the girls' education, or what really stood out to them last year? I know you most recently joined,
So I think some of the ones that stood out last year, we did an outing in Gorée Island, which is off of Dakar in Senegal, and that was one of the spots where the slaves were put on the ships to go to the Americas, and so you really saw the living conditions of what they were experiencing. You saw, sort of where they were herded onto the ships, and that end of the experience. And then we got around to the Caribbean, we got into Brazil, and we saw, you'd go to the city town square and you'd see where they were auctioned off. You'd see, the historical implications of how that all worked and how the spice trade played into it. So I think that really brought everything full circle. And that was one of this summer, the oldest kid did freshman history, and that was part of freshman history. And so was the Incan and Mayan civilizations, and we went and saw a lot of the ruins, the Nazca lines, those sorts of things when we were in Peru. And so I think the fact that she'd seen some of those in real life obviously helped flesh out what she was reading on the page.
Yeah, I mean, it brought it to life, literally. I mean, you actually got to see these things, and I think, I think that's one of the most wonderful gifts. We've talked a lot about this concept when we've traveled, is the idea of sharing space and holding space, but sharing space with people who've come before us for generations and generations, and that the gift that it is, and also you need to take time to be in those moments and to experience the discomfort or whatever the emotion that comes up for you, and go, this matters, and it matters that I am here to honor it in a unique way.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's a ton of those sorts of opportunities everywhere that we've gone.
Yeah.
Right as we got on the ship this go around, we hiked the rice terraces in northern Philippines. So Banawe was sort of where we were based out of. And that agrarian, we come from a place where we grow a lot of wheat. And so the kids they've seen the life cycle of what it looks like to be a farmer, but they certainly have never seen it in rice terrace form.
Right.
And, whole families out there working in the fields, and that this is something that you hand down to your oldest child, and sort of the whole thing really, obviously teaches where your food comes from, right? And that it's important that other cultures do it differently than we do it at home.
Yeah.
But I think that they got a lot out of that as well.
Yeah. What is the thing you're most looking forward to this year with them in terms of their education?
I think the diving has been one of my most favorite parts of this, and so I'm looking forward to that, and them getting more excited about, we're going to see bigger species this go around. So people on the ship did a bunch of whale shark snorkeling and diving this week, and we missed out on what we tried. Whale sharks did not comply.
Come on now.
These things happen.
Yeah.
And so I think the oldest kid is now talking about, well, maybe marine biology would be interesting.
Yeah.
And so that's obviously a direct result of being on this trip.
Yes.
Right? So.
How cool is that? That's awesome. Thank you so much. That was amazing. I so appreciate you. I'm so glad that you were here. All right. And now we have a Speaker's Corner update, preview, and if my memory serves me correctly, we have some pretty exciting ones coming up, as we do always, but here we are. Hi.
You are absolutely correct.
Excellent. All right, Ms. Kit,
In fact, this week we get 2 Speaker's Corners.
Ooh.
The first one, which is tomorrow night, will be Jill Cross talking to us about Victorian art.
Ooh.
Now, Jill has a bunch of degrees.
Speaking of education.
Speaking of education, and she, by the way, has taught internationally.
All right.
Food for future talks.
Yeah.
Anyway. I am sure she's going to weave literature, history, and politics into her discussion about art.
Excellent.
So we'll find out about that. And the Speaker's Corner is always in Choral Club. I shouldn't say always because things change, because
Life changes.
we're on the Odyssey.
Life happens.
And it's at...
I should have said shit happens, but you know.
And that'll starts at 8:30. And the second one is on Thursday, October 9th. And Ollie, our entertainment director, is going to address us. And he decided to call his talk, "You Asked For It."
Is that a direct, did you ask for it?
I'm not sure which one of us did.
Okay.
So that's what Speaker's Corner is doing this week.
How exciting!
It is.
All right, it'll be another education.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, last but absolutely not least, we have the absolutely lovely Miss Alicia, who is an awesome educator, music educator, international educator. Please help us welcome her to the stage. All right, so how did you get involved in music? Start there.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to give you the story my mother loved to tell everyone.
Excellent.
And she'll be on board December 13th. I'm so excited. Yes, for friends and family. But apparently, when I was in nursery school and my mother, was raising 2 kids and working, and so we always were rushing everywhere.
Totally.
And so we get to our evening performance and my class is up on the stage already, and my mother panics and pushes me up there. She said I went center stage and started belting out the song, and everybody, the whole audience started clapping, so I was hooked. They were clapping for me. I was hooked, yes. But my father is a very gifted musician. He's 92, and he said, "Take mom, I'm staying home." On the cruise. But he's gifted. He has perfect pitch. He can pick up any instrument. I mean, I've watched as he went through all of the instruments we were learning.
Yeah.
He would just pick it up and then surpass, the professional level. But he studied the woodwind instruments and piano when he was growing up. So I was just surrounded by music. My grandfather taught me piano.
Nice.
It was just something our family did.
Yeah, it's a family tradition. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
So then, but you kept going. You became a professional as well.
Yes,
Okay.
by accident,
Oh.
because I was groomed to be a doctor or a surgeon until I dissected frogs, gone through the normal high school course, but then I got to college and I was standing there and the dissecting was getting a little more intensive, and I remembered my grandmother, the nurse's story about a cadaver, and I said, this is not what I want to do with my life. So I was saved by the community college. I was at the University of Michigan, and I went to Washtenaw Community College. Okay, who am I? What do I want to do? What do I want to be? And the only thing I could think of was music. It just was what was in my heart. It came so naturally to me.
Yeah.
I hadn't considered it as a degree, even though I wanted to sing, when I was in high school. So I went back as a music major.
Okay.
And I studied musical theater, and I saw that a little too narrow because I'm not the ingenue type.
Okay.
Sure. I'm not, short, sweet, and petite.
Okay.
Saying he loves me. So I looked towards opera, and plus my teacher was grooming me in that direction, which was more about the voice than the appearance. And so I got my 2 degrees, a bachelor's and master's in music and voice performance.
Wow. Okay.
Awesome.
And then, so you had a career as a performer.
Yes.
And
Yes, I did.
Also as an educator, so can you share a little bit about both?
Absolutely. The best thing about performing is it gives you a chance to see the world. And I didn't realize that was what I wanted to do, but that was my vehicle. I'll get to Germany, I'll get to Italy. I was thinking all these thoughts. But the reality I never thought of is when you meet someone and fall in love, and you have to look in their eyes and say, okay, I'm leaving for another 6 weeks. Okay, this will be the last time I'm going to take time off. But guess what? I just got this gig and I'm going to leave again.
Yeah.
And I realized that was not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
No, it was not sustainable. It was not what I wanted in a relationship
Yeah.
in my life, because I saw so many successful singers coming out of my university, but I didn't see those with successful relationships. And I hope he's not here. The man of my dreams.
Oh, you say, shoot.
So I had an opportunity to pivot quickly. No, but it's funny because I had run away from teaching, even though the artist in residence was what fed my soul.
Sure.
You know, I love being on stage, the applause, the people, the change, the variety. But as an artist in residence, helping kids fall in love with music, coaching that choir so that they're like, wow, we can do that sound, and getting ready for the performance, and marrying an educator. Where my mother was an educator, her father was an educator. I said, I'm not going to be a teacher. They work too hard.
I know.
But it was a logical thing to do.
Yeah.
It really was, because there's nothing more rewarding than watching someone learn and find their joy and their passion through something you put in front of them. So that was my path into music education.
So what was one of the most challenging experiences you had as an educator that may have led to a really lovely result or change?
Little Sanjay, because my motto was, no one is tone deaf.
Okay.
They are only lacking in tonal experiences.
Ooh.
So by 4th grade, every kid should be able to match pitch. If I do my job correctly,
okay,
by the time I have them, if it's on a continuous cycle in 4th grade, they will be able to sing and match the tones that are playing.
Okay.
And Sanjay couldn't.
Okay.
He couldn't, but I persisted, I'm singing in his ear, I'm doing the little things up the top of his head, and he's standing there, and the class is like, okay, don't do it today. And one day I just said, hello, Sanjay, and he came back, hello, Mrs. Lewis, and I screamed, and I grabbed his face, and I hugged him, and he was like, ah! So, I felt bad because I could see he really wanted to do it. He was really trying. His group wanted him to do it, and he did it. He did it. And, and so that was a very rewarding moment.
That is a beautiful moment. So you still, I know, have helped a lot, even on board with different musical experiences, and you still play, at least. I hear you a little bit every once in a while, which is delightful. So how do you keep up with something that fills your soul like that? How do you still do that?
I run away from it just like I did in teaching. It's like, okay, I'm a retired opera singer. I don't want to sing. And then someone says, but we need you to lead the choir. And then I have all of these gifted voices in front of me that are just waiting for someone to say, okay, just tilt your jaw a little bit, lean your head back. And so, that fills my soul again.
Yeah.
It does. Yes.
Good.
And then practicing up in the observatory. What a practice room we have.
Right?
Up there,
My
baby
gosh.
grand piano, looking out on the world and the ports. That feeds my soul.
Oh, good.
So
Well, mine
blessed.
too, because the times that I get to hear you while I'm up there feeds my soul. So thank you. You pass it along.
Thank goodness.
Well, this is amazing, Alicia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for asking.
Sharing your heart.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, I know we only have a couple of minutes left, but do we actually have a randomizer, or what is this surprise?
We do actually have a randomizer.
Okay. Do you want to do?
Yes.
All right. Do you want to do just like one or two stories?
Yeah.
Real fast, or one or two?
So,
All right, here we go.
This is actually Randomizer 2.0. If you've seen the show or you've been before, you'll know right away what the upgrades are. So here we go. Would you like to go first, or should we see what the question is?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm so proud of that. Okay. The most unusual place you've ever learned something.
Oh, do you have something for this? Does something come to mind?
I think this is a good one for you.
Oh, great. Great. The most unusual place you've ever learned something. Most unusual place. I really have to think about that. Okay. Okay. I guess this is the first thing that comes to mind. So I think maybe because people are talking about scuba diving, I never thought that was in the cards for me. I was like, heck no, I'm afraid of deep water. There's no way. I'm not trusting this silly, apparatus that weighs me down. Heck no, not happening. And then we got the opportunity to scuba dive in Mexico, and their requirements are a little bit different than other places, and you can do like one little session and then you can go scuba diving, which might not be the best thing, but it was fine. We worked it out. So I said, okay, yes, I'm going to do this crazy thing. And I guess for me, the most unusual place where I've learned something was in the ocean in Mexico, and I was underwater, and it took me so long to descend the rope because I was so scared. I was so freaking scared. And I got down, and I was doing it, and I had to remember not to hyperventilate and all these things. And I had this moment of going, oh, okay, so if I can do this, it might not be the most fun thing I've ever done, because I was so nervous about it, but if I can do this, what else can I do that I've just held myself back from doing just because I was afraid to try? So I guess the ocean?
Yeah.
Most unusual place?
Okay, I guess that means I have to take the next one.
Okay.
Okay, the best aha moment you've had while learning. Okay, so this goes back to 7th grade, I think it was. 6th or 7th. And I don't remember because of the teacher that I had in school. I remember because of the teacher I had at home. My dad was helping me with math, and I remember my homework. This was like kind of switching to algebra, and I had such a hard time with the new concepts. And I remember my homework papers being smeared because I was crying, and like the pencil, and you go like this, and there'd be this pencil smear across the page. And my dad was so patient. And I remember this one time, well, like so many times, but this one particular time, I think it was probably his 5th or 6th analogy, and we have different objects that he's explaining things with, and finally, I don't remember what the concept was, but after that, one night, my scores started getting better. I started understanding math. I started to love math, actually. And then in college, I actually helped other people with math. I was a tutor, but it was all because it was that, how people say, oh, they're an overnight success, but they've been working for years and years and years. So I had this aha moment where all of a sudden I started, understanding mathematical concepts like I couldn't before. But it was all because my dad spent hours with me every day until I had that aha moment, until he gave me that aha moment. We'll put it that way. Yeah.
That's a beautiful story. Well, I hope this has been as much of an education for you as it has been for me. So thank you for joining me tonight. And I hope that whatever you do this week, wherever you explore, whoever you interact with, and however you learn, that you continue to shine brightly because the world needs your light. And I would love to invite the cast up for one final thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all. Good night and cheers. Till next week. All right.